I think I hooked up linked my YouTube, I think.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
That's why it kicked me out for a moment.
Nice. Okay.
Oh.
Hitting the button.
Not that it does anything, but.
Right.
Hey, if we have 10
Makes you feel
subscribers and
better.
you have 10 subscribers, maybe 5 of them are different.
But I can at least comment as myself if I do that, right? Like that's what I was thinking.
I have no idea.
Yes.
I don't know
Do
how
I know
that
how any
works.
of this works? No. Did I?
No,
hit
I
it?
thought I did. Never
No.
mind, I did not.
I don't know how none of it works.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hello.
We are Army Project 529, and Stephanie here is going to introduce us in a moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do it right now because we're all too excited and we just need to move on.
I know.
Can't contain our
Other
excitement.
things.
Welcome to 529 Sunday Night Live. This is our secret sauce night, which is each different admin gets a different Sunday night to choose the topic, and this is Patricia's night. We are a project based on community, connection, content, and celebrating the return of BTS. So welcome. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to say something else. Hold on. So if you have any questions, if you don't know us, if you don't know what we do, or if you want to get linked to different things, our Discord, all the different things that we do, go to ap529.com/links. Everything's pretty much there. Play around on the website, get yourself on our map, and see if I was just writing a comment on my social media about the map, Moss City map. You can find people around you, connect with them. Also, come into our Discord. We have city or regional threads there. You can find people that way. So just jump on the website and check us out and learn everything you can. And we're not harmful people, so just have fun.
I love it.
Too scary.
I love it.
Usually pretty chill.
We have an agenda, but we swear it's harmless.
It's not that kind of agenda.
Not that kind of agenda. It's an agenda. There's a difference.
It's literally spelled agenda, for those of you wondering. A-J-I-N-D-A.
Yes.
It is spelled agenda and has been since the dawn of this project. And so if you think you're hearing us say it wrong, we're not. We are, in fact, calling it an agenda.
Yeah.
It's the agenda indeed. And I wrote it. I could have said I wouldn't write it, but I wrote it.
We actually have a whole thesaurus of gin puns where we have changed names of things to involve the word gin.
Oh, great. My computer is deciding to lose battery right now. Hold on.
No. Okay.
Run. Get your power cord. Come here, buddy.
The power cord is
Oh,
screwed
the
up.
Void Kitty says hi. Hello.
Void Kitty says hello.
Hello.
Give everybody some good luck for the year. Give them a few pats. Here we go. You hear that?
Oh, yes. They love the
There we
pats.
go.
They do. They
Thumbs
really
that
love the
melon.
pats.
Thumbs that melon.
All right.
There
So who saw a little Weverse notification around 10 a.m. Eastern today?
Yeah, what's going on? Anything new?
Anything new today? I don't know.
Totally dull
I heard
and
some
border
stuff
world.
happening.
Totally dull, nothing going on.
Nothing's happening. Everybody calm
As far as I
down.
know,
calm down.
nothing happened.
Everybody calm down.
Oh, Princess Jin heard of me say Jin, and she was like, "Hey guys, I thought, are we talking about kitties or me?"
Yep. It's been pretty boring today, actually. Not a damn thing going on.
Oh my gosh. If by boring you mean last thing I saw was 1.1 million tweets today about BTS.
Well, I'm glad we didn't overreact.
That's yeah.
Really glad we kept
How
our calm.
How many?
1.1 million tweets in reference to BTS today.
Just like a couple of them.
Listen, at least we kept her calm. We were be cool, be cool, Ari, be cool.
Nobody
Be
went
cool,
out on
Ari.
social media and freaked out.
No, everybody stayed appropriate levels of calm. Clearly.
Be cool, honey bunny.
Good job, mommy. Be cool.
I'm just going to show my cup because it's my status right
I
now.
was literally outside within 10 minutes hanging up purple lights. That's how cool I stayed.
I know. I loved it. I love that you shot.
Yeah,
I love that you put Sean on there too, because I was like, Sean.
Yep.
I was spending my entire day spray painting a set of bookshelves purple so that I could set up my little Bora office space area. So, like, clearly accurate timing. The timing was perfect. Like, No big deal. It's not like I had planned this for weeks, like a week maybe ahead of time.
Yes,
It's no big
we
deal.
did crash Weverse. You heard
I
correctly.
told them I was in the car when it happened. I was on my way to a play date with my whole family, and I was meeting some very old friends with their kids. And like as soon as I parked the car, I looked at my phone real quick, was like, well, I have no time to deal with that. And I knew I was going to be there for a few hours. And I was just like, I was told my husband, I was like, I'm going to try really hard not to look at my phone, but BTS just announced that the tour is coming soon, and like here's the date we're getting it. And he's like, okay, yeah, okay.
It's not red alert, red alert. You have to be all hands on deck until we actually have to do it.
Which I will say tells me that there's a really, really high likelihood that this means they have themed their tour more all-encompassing versus the new album.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be like a more like all-encompassing of thematics.
I agree. That's my theory.
Because they're not going to want to give away all of their album comeback concepts with the tour announcements.
Well, and there's such a special relationship between BTS and ARMY and the discography. Like it would be a shame to not bring in some of the old songs that people really love. Like even if they're good, like you got to do a mix. Everybody
They got to do mic drop. I mean, they've been ready for it.
Oh yeah, you know, mic drop is going to be part of it. 100%.
I mean, do you think they sat at a meeting and they look at their list of songs and they're like, "ARMY will kill us if we don't do that one"?
They've asked like 50,000 times at this point. What do you want to see in the tour?
Probably.
And then they're like, yeah, but nobody remembers the choreo. And Taehyung's like, excuse me, I remember every single piece of choreo.
They're like, what do you want to hear? But don't say louder than bombs. Just don't say louder than bombs.
I know.
They're
consistently like, ARMY wants louder than bombs, but what we're not going to give you. I do you have any idea how hard that song is to sing? Is what we have heard probably 1,000 times at this point.
ARMY immediately leans into microphone.
Yes.
Louder than bombs.
And then Kim is like, are you for real? Do you know the levels that stretches my vocal tone? And we were like, yes, Kim Seokjin. Also,
Jin should have done one of those. Jin should have done one of those in his concert, like where he had to guess what people were singing. And then ARMY would have a new appreciation for how high it is.
Yes.
And maybe we would get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Change the key a little bit. Nobody will notice. They'll never know. Wow.
It's
okay, guys, we're almost 10 minutes.
Anyways, here we go. Yeah, totally normal. We're all totally normal. We're all fine
cool.
here. How are you?
So cool.
We should mention though that we have opened up threads in our Discord specifically to talk about the upcoming comeback album and the upcoming tour. So we opened those threads specifically so that people could go in there and just freak the fuck out and not spread it out all over the server and have everybody going in like 50 million directions. We're keeping it there. And we've got more things planned coming on the way. I'm not going to say anything more than that because we're in our little squirrel rooms, the admins right now, like
we're doing great, sweeties. That's what she means.
I basically walked in that room and was like, "Play your battle station."
Everything's fine, guys. Everything's fine. It's all fine.
Everyone.
Here.
But also we'd like to mention for those of you that are maybe not feeling the excitement right now and maybe leaning a little bit more towards anxiety or want a little bit more of a calm experience in the Discord, we do absolutely respect that you want that, and so that's also why we put those types of things in those two channels to contain them so that you can still be in the Discord and you don't have to be anxious about it, because sometimes the line between excitement and anxiety is very, very thin. I
experienced a lot of emotions today.
Yeah.
And we know not everybody will be able to go to the concerts.
Yes.
Not everybody will be able to get the album. So we don't want that. We want to have that safe space feeling even during comeback season, so that those of you who can't don't feel that FOMO every single time you walk in the server. And so that way those conversations are kept isolated, and that way you can experience that side of the kicking if you want to. But if it's too much for you or too overwhelming to you for various reasons, you don't have to. And that's also why we put little sticky notes at the bottom of all the main channels, reminding you to take those conversations into those subspaces.
Okay.
Katie, can you put the link up again on the screen? Somebody's asking where to find them.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, Doc, do you want to do the honors and introduce what we're going to be talking about tonight?
All right. So tonight is, as mentioned at the top of the live, we have our Sunday surprise, where one member of the admin team brings a surprise topic to the rest of the admin team and to you, our 529 line. Tonight, Patricia is in charge, and the topic has been in the works for a very long time. It took her a lot of research and a lot of processing to do this, and since she's our resident, like the most expert amongst us on this topic, we wanted it to be on Patricia's week. So this has been in the works for a really, really long time, and the timing is actually quite kismet as to when her week came up, in that she's going to be talking about the art of translation and why AI and auto translators are not that perfect when it comes to interpreting for Army that doesn't know Korean. So it is an exciting topic. It is a very applicable topic. It is one to keep in mind, one that's been brought up for a very long time on and off throughout the server, and that we've been working on for a while, or Patricia's been working on for a while. I take no credit. Her brain is brilliant. So get ready, guys. Be excited. And take it away, Patricia.
Yeah. Okay. So as Doc, I'm obsessed with slides, so I made some slides. Yay! Let me get them up. Okay. So I'm gonna go very fast on certain parts and very slow on other parts, and I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. So please intervene, and if anybody has questions, please ask. If somebody asks in the chat, please somebody tell me, because I cannot keep my eyes on everything. So there we go. We're going to talk about the art of translation, like Doc said, and why AI translations aren't that perfect, because they are not. So what do I know? And this is a little bit of an introduction about myself. What do I know about translation? Okay, well, I'm a little bit of a Kim Namjoon of sorts, because I can speak Spanish and English, not Korean, Spanish and English. I can read and understand most Romance languages because I took 5 years of Latin between high school and college. So that makes me able to kind of understand everything that comes from Latin.
I love that it looks like Kim Namjoon is, yes.
He's just nodding along.
Yes, very good, very good.
That's why I chose this. And I have
Go on.
in translation, transcreation, and internationalization for over 20 years. So I know a lot about what gets involved into translating stuff.
We told you Patricia was our expert.
But I have a huge caveat here, and I see somebody in the audience that is going to kill me about some of the Korean stuff because she speaks Korean. So I just want to throw here the huge caveat that I have. I have worked in Korean projects with Korean translators, but my Korean is very, very basic. I can actually read Hangul, but that's about it. So, let's go
sweetie.
here and just take everything that I say about Korean here with a grain of salt. I did a lot of research. I think it's mostly accurate, but some might be incorrect, and just bear with me, okay? Mm-hmm. So most of the people think,
rude.
Yeah, this is a very rude picture, and I translated it on purpose. So a lot of people think that translation is apples to apples, but actually translation is not apples to apples. Is actually quite
apples to collarbones. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Apples to collarbones.
I can't think. I have no think when Jim and she looks at me like that.
This apples, man. Anyway, them apples. So I'm going to go on you, and I'm just going to explain that linguists actually have a formula for translation. And this formula looks like this.
Oh, he's so
smart people, man.
And now I'm going to tell you what each one of these letters means.
I didn't know that I was going to need to take notes tonight.
I always suck at algebra. This is going to be
algebra.
It gets more fun.
Letters cannot be numbers. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to make a point here. Okay. So T is the final translation. And the final translation is a combination of linguistic accuracy, cultural context.
Yes, yes.
And then you're going to have something that you're going to lose all the time, which fun, like linguistics calls it poetry lost. Very Namjoon of that.
That's tragic.
Poetry
It does
lost.
feel tragic.
It's very tragic. Anyway, hold on. It's not moving on to the next slide because I don't know what happened here. Anyway, so what is linguistic accuracy? Linguistic accuracy is what we call the math of language. The math of language are all the rules of language, the grammar, the vocabulary, the pronunciation, the spelling, all these rules that you kind of like put together so that a language can work. The order of the words in a sentence, all of those things are the linguistic accuracy part of it. Then you have the cultural context. The cultural context is the soul of the language. And the soul of the language, it's basically the values of that society, or like, you know, the beliefs of that society, their history, their like common cultural background. And the poetry lost are like the really difficult things to translate. You usually cannot translate them. Is like the nuance language. And the nuance is usually includes things like rhymes, meter, wordplay, puns, ambiguity, things that have connotations. That
Idioms, which English is horrible with. We litter our language with idioms.
Yes.
I just forgot what all of those things are, just for the record.
Exactly.
Things that have multiple meanings.
I'm going to kind of connect this to BTS at some point. So just bear with me because it's going to get even more fun and interesting. So a translator is usually hired to translate to their first native language. So in my case, that is Spanish. I've almost always been hired to translate into Spanish, not into English. Why? Because it's the language that I know best. It's my first language. It's the language I have cultural context on. And it's also the one where I can kind of figure out how to translate the poetry lost because I know how to rhyme and things like that. So this is actually something that I thought while as I was doing this slide. Kim Namjoon, when he's translating to us, is probably doing a worse job than when he's translating to the guys. Isn't that interesting? Because it's his native language, Korean.
It makes sense. It
does make sense. It makes a lot of sense.
They also deserve it.
Yeah.
They deserve better translations than we do.
They do.
I'm perfectly happy, Kim Namjoon, with strong power. Thank you. I'm perfectly happy with that.
It does also explain why they tend to carry around with them Korean translators.
Yes.
The more accurate translation.
So translation is a little bit like a game of La Chimolala, like carbonara, like headphone kind of game, because you're just like trying to figure out what the other person's saying and tell it to somebody else. So some things are like really, really challenging because usually little word by word translations are a lie. The reason is that sometimes to be faithful to the meaning, you have to be unfaithful to the words. And here I have a question for admin and for like the chat. Okay.
Question.
If I say to you, and this is, I'm going to translate something that I would say in Spanish, literally. Okay. If I say to you, to buy the BTS tickets, I'm going to throw my house through the window. What would you think I'm saying?
I would think that's a completely valid response to one.
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
I would think it means you're going to go hard. You're going to go real hard.
You're going to go hard. You're going to go all in.
Yeah. It's pretty much, it means that I'm going to splurge. But, you know, I've gotten other people tell me, like, why would you throw your house through the window? It makes no sense to translate it literally. So this kind of proves the point that to be very faithful to the meaning, sometimes you really have to be unfaithful to the words. I would say splurge instead of throwing my house through the window.
Not as fun, though.
Not as fun.
I mean, it is more colorful.
But yeah.
It's more colorful. Anyway, time, and this is particularly for like army translators that do it like at the same time. So time pressure is real. and can affect your choices. If you're a translator that has to translate something really quickly, you might make choices that then when you think about it, is not the choice that you would have made to translate. And it's because when you do simultaneous interpretation, and I've done this at a radio station, which is like crazy because you're live and you're like translating at the same time, is one of the most cognitively taxing jobs there is, because you are like listening to someone talking to you and like speaking in another language, saying what the other person is telling you. So you have to be really fast on your feet, and it's really, really, really hard to do. And then translations are not objective. It's like, it's not something you bring all your background into your translation. Okay. So because you make the choices, and sometimes when you make those choices, you might be losing things in the way. Some of the things that you might be losing in the way are, for example, the rhyme and the meter of a verse, or like flow, or the musicality of a sentence. Because, for example, if I read this poem for you, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. And then I translate it into Spanish. This is what I would read to you, and just tell me how it feels. Las rosas son rojas, las violetas azules, el azúcar es dulce y tú también. It doesn't rhyme at all.
I mean, it's like 10 times sexier.
Yeah, but
Mama también.
It is hot.
Y tú también.
Yeah, y tú también. It has no meter. Yes, like it loses all like kind of the sing-songy quality of the English.
Yeah, I get you.
Mama también is a great movie.
We would never survive BTS speaking Spanish to us, like in long form.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mary, hold on. Mary, I was exactly thinking of that exact thing. The cognitive load when the interview, when Hobie snatched the mic from Namjoon and basically told the translator to do their job, because he could tell how Namjoon was struggling at trying to translate everything. Yeah.
and that probably was not a very good translator. On top of that.
Or again, the cognitive load the day that Namjoon just fucking gave up and started being like a big power, thank you. Strong power, thank you.
Strong power, thank you.
Yeah, like he couldn't handle it anymore. He was done, and so he just kind of went totally off the rails.
You also have to think of the words that you're choosing, because words have weight. Let me give you, for example, two words that have different weights. House and home have different ways. Like when you talk about home, you're talking about a place that is warm, that you come back to, that is kind of your like safe space. But if you're saying house and you choose house instead of home, you might not be conveying the actual meaning of what they're saying. So you have to be very, very careful with your choice of words. The other thing that you lose is like how the original writer speaker wants to express himself or herself. You're gonna just like lose like the way that they think, because you're applying your whole background to the way that you're translating. So I totally understand, and I'm just gonna go with my bias line. These three guys, when they say, you know what, I'd rather say it in Korean, because
this is rude.
You know, they
This is audacious, man. How dare
say it in a, like express themselves in a clearer way than what they do when they do it in English. So
right.
On with them.
Patricia, does it also, or maybe I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but does it also matter? You know, you I think about when Namjoon is translating for Army versus when he's at the United Nations speaking. You know what I mean? Like your audience would matter too, right?
Yeah, I think that when he's speaking at the United Nations and he does it in English, he probably like really thinks about how he's gonna express himself, and like he kind of tries to, you know, come from the Korean and then just kind of try to make the best job possible to convey what he really feels in that translation. It's not the same thing. Like when you read the translation of Alive, what you're going to lose a little bit is like, you know, how they actually feel about what they're saying. It's going to be a little bit more diluted, because the translator is not going to give you their perspective. It's going to give the perspective of the translator. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
yeah, it does.
Okay, So Korean is super hard. Super, super hard.
Yeah.
The U.S.
Sure
Department of State, yeah. So the U.S. Department of State has a lot of experience training diplomats, and it classifies languages with how hard they are to learn for English speakers. So in the first two categories, you have the ones that are more closely related to English. They take between 24 to 36 weeks to learn, to kind of have the basic kind of fluency to actually kind of speak them. In category 3, you have what they name hard languages.
Yes.
And do you see Korean there?
Yeah.
Sure don't.
Yeah.
Sure
Nope.
shit don't.
Nope. Korean is not in the hard languages category 3. It takes more than 44 weeks to learn. It's actually on category 4 with the
Oh.
Of course it
hard
is.
languages.
Of course it is.
Of course, it's Chinese, Japanese, and Korean.
Yep.
And Arabic, which are
Yeah.
exceptionally difficult for native English speakers to learn. So I will ask you, admin and Chad, how many weeks do you think it takes to get basic fluency of Korean according to the U.S. Department of State?
More than a year, more than 52.
I'm going to go with my original guess, which was over 80 weeks. Was my
Well, the
original
100
guess.
weeks. No, none, because I wouldn't try.
Yeah,
Um,
at least a year and a half.
I would say about a year and a half. Yeah.
Well,
Least.
the closest one is actually Doc. It's 88 weeks, so 2,200 hours of class to learn Korean.
It's a
And
whole lot. It's a whole
the
lot.
other question is like, why Korean specifically is so hard to learn and translate? Okay, so
Completely different.
let's go to the original, like kind of like things that we talk about: linguistic accuracy, cultural context, and poetry loss. And I'm going to go into very specific examples based on BTS lyrics and things that they have said in public and their conversation that go into each one of this part. So, okay, so linguistic accuracy, they have what I call the ghost subject. So sentences might not have a subject, and they might not have an I or you or he or she or they.
Mhm.
And it's kind of very interesting because the choice of subject, it's very, very difficult for like a translator because they have to make a choice between all these options. And it might dilute the meaning of the poetic choice of leaving the subject not revealed. So you might not choose the subject that the writer of the lyrics is thinking about, or the writer of the lyrics just basically decided, I'm just not going to give a subject so people can make their own kind of idea of who the subject is. And for example, I'm going to give you this line from Epiphany. You have the line in Korean, and then you have the literal English translation. The literally English translation is, even if a bit lacking so beautiful. We know from the context of the song that Jin is singing about himself. So the logical choice when you translate it is to translate it with the subject I. But like in other examples, the thing can be more like poetic choice. You can choose if it's ARMY or if it's BTS or if you're talking about somebody else, which is like what makes like the lyrics so interesting. Then you have the sentence flip. It changes the order of words in a sentence. In English, usually we have SVO, which is subject, verb, object. And in Korean is subject, object, verb. So in English, I would say, I like apples. In Korean, I would say, I apples like. So if you add that with
Feels right, man.
to the lack of subject, you have an example like this one from Boy With Love, which the first sentence says that this is the literal translation. Everything is curious. There's no subject. The object goes first. The verb goes at the end. Like, how do translators usually translate the sentence? I'm curious about everything. How's your day? And it adds the I.
Yep.
But by the same token, you can actually say, we are curious about everything, or they are curious about everything.
This is when the context comes in super helpful. You have to take in the conversation or the lyric as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you take the lyric as a whole and you figure out what the subject is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, word stacking. Korean likes to use words like Legos. They add prefixes and suffixes to modify the meaning of the word or the function that it has.
Yep.
And this one is actually pretty fun. Dope. Okay. You see this word that is in pink? This is the literal translation. Work did right, you know it.
Hell yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I nailed my work. You know, I did.
Mm-hmm. Work
Yeah,
did right.
did.
You know it. You
10 out of
my
10.
work did right.
10 out of 10. We were killing it, girl.
Yep.
I love it though.
And the right, you know it. It's just the G. So the G is right, you know it. Usually the way that this is translated is we work all night every day. But the G adds this thing that is like, you know how hard, right? Which usually is not.
Go ahead, tell us how hard.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll see myself out.
They will tell you how hard.
But
We're
it's
all
like,
to the principal's office at this point in the lecture. All of us. Every single one of us. All passed. All of us. Patricia's now talking to an empty
We
room.
need you fuckers to stop giggling in
Lost
the
the
back.
back row.
If you could
Back
find
row
yourselves
is
a little
joking
bit.
it up. He's gonna separate us next class. I know it.
Yeah.
you're like, maybe lose my concentration. Oh my God.
Sorry, you were saying they work hard.
Sorry, go on.
We work hard all
Hard,
night.
They work hard
Talk
all
about
night.
hard what?
They work
Hard
hard
all
all
night.
night.
That's the last I got from this.
Yeah,
But,
they do.
you know,
Yes, the
yeah,
teacher would be doing. I'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah. Anyway.
Mm.
And then this is the fun thing when I started learning Korean that drove me absolutely crazy. They have words that sound exactly the same, but can have different meanings depending on the context.
We love a homophone.
Mm-hmm.
So cha can be car or tea, you know, like yol can be fever or saying 10, you know, so whatever, if you're saying any of these words, good luck if they saying just that word, because you don't even know what they're talking about if they don't give you any context. Obviously, if you're trying to get like, if you're in a park and they say pool, they're probably talking about the grass and not about glue.
Yes.
But you know,
But I mean, every language has. I don't want to say every language. I mean, I know English does. We have
I was going to
homophones
say,
too.
I think this is where we get into a lot of trouble with the lives when people say, "Oh, that translation was so crazy. What's wrong with it? What's wrong?" There are words that sound exactly the same that mean two totally different things.
Mhm.
So it's not crazy.
Okay.
It just pick the wrong one.
I'm just gonna tell you this, Katie. I know for my work experience that AI, like AI or certain translators are not able to read the context.
No.
No, they can't.
They're not able to kind of figure out the context. So
that's why the translations come across so wonky, because the translating software is just giving us direct literal word for word and probably choosing the more common when there's these back and forths like this.
I mean,
he's talking about a
it
car.
has no
and
context availability at all.
That's why I thought he was talking about turkey-shaped chocolate this whole time.
Yeah, and like the other thing that I was thinking about is like, you know, it's like maybe like the translator would tell you when Namjoon says I'm laying on the grass, it will say I'm laying on the glue, and then you're like pretty much like not getting.
And then everybody's like, what?
That makes no sense. That's clearly not. We can go. We're like intelligent. Most of us are intelligent enough creatures to go. That's probably not. That's not what he said. But
That's
I don't
probably
know.
not the real word. Or
Yeah.
like
So
a lot of
you're
times,
shit over
like
it, that's the problem.
you can infer if you're sitting there and he's
Yes.
And the translation says glue, most of the logical humans are going to be like, man, he's talking, they messed up grass and glue. They meant grass. But then, you know, that's when some people will lose their shit about why is he gluing things? Did he break something?
And then
Why you got to be worried about my man's habits? None of your business.
Gluing things.
Mind your own business.
Exactly.
Break something again, he's got to glue it. And we're like, he was sitting on the grass when he said the word.
Sitting on the grass. Anyway. So that's
anyways.
That's just everything that we have for like linguistic accuracy that I could find that was like easy to kind of explain. This is like the math of language, but now let's go into the soul.
I think that's like the most important thing to remember, though, Patricia. I think you nailed it.
Yeah. Now let's go into like the soul of the language, into the cultural context, because that is another thing.
Also, though, right before you start, though, also that other slide makes it really, really cool for rappers who like to have bars that have multiple meanings.
Yep.
So that's that's where it can be fun.
Yeah.
Is when you have to understand his lyrics because it's got multiple meanings. Anyways, go ahead, carry on.
Okay.
Like, dang.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to talk about that later on. But anyway, so cultural context, low versus high. So there are like low context cultures and very high context cultures. A low context culture is usually, and you see the American flag there, and most like, you know, Nordic countries are there, because this low context like cultures go very much like that reflects in the language. But I'm going to give you an example of high context in English, and you're just going to understand this very quickly. So low context is very direct and explicit, is very task oriented, is very clear and unambiguous, and it has pays a lot of attention to what you're saying, like the words that are coming out of your mouth. High context cultures, and there you see the Korean flag right at the front, they're very indirect and implicit. They're very relationship oriented. So you might tell somebody, like, it's difficult, you know, like this thing that you're asking me to do, it's difficult. What they will actually mean, if you can read the context, is that they will never do it. But some people would like interpret it like basically saying, well, if I push really hard, they might do it. No, maybe you're not reading like the context the right way, because there's a lot of like things that play, you know, the context is very important. It's like the way that that person is talking to you, the body language. Even a silence can be super meaningful and like add an entire layer of meaning to whatever they're saying to you. So because they play a lot of like, you know, attention to the nonverbal cues, but also about, you know, any history that you might have with that person or anything that they assume that you know about that person will also play into the conversation. There's one high context I was trying to think of like any high context expression that I could think in American English so everybody could understand. If you go to the southern part of the United States and somebody tells you bless your heart, it means something entirely different than what you means.
It does.
Sure does.
We have that.
Somebody in another country might think that you're just being really nice and
you're really sweet,
wishing someone well. But yeah, if you live in the South,
you're not doing what
they
you're
might
not
not
doing
be
is
doing
any of those
that.
things.
So I just wanted to kind of like just imagine that when you go to a country that is high context like Japan or Korea, everything that everybody says is that bless your heart. Very confusing, huh? It really, really kind of impacts like the translation as well. So,
yeah.
And then a lot of people, armies are very aware of this. Honorifics and hierarchy, that's super important in Korean. Who you're talking to changes how you talk. It changes how you talk to them, like the verbs and everything. It's what they call levels of formality. And I'm going to ask you and the audience, how many levels of formality do you think Korean has? Because Spanish has 2, formal and informal.
5.
On usted?
I'm going with 5.
Well, I know there's formal for somebody who's older than you, formal for somebody lower, like younger than you. I know and then there's 2 for the informal, somebody older than you, somebody younger than you, and then there's gender specific ones.
Yeah.
3,
I was gonna say like 6. 6.
Okay. Somebody got it in the chat. The number is 7.
It's 7.
The formality, like our guy is 7.
Of course,
Feels
Feels right.
Like that's way too high, Katie.
Feels right.
That's ridiculous. No.
And it
7
can
feels
be-
right.
And it can be combined in different ways to even get to up to 14. So like 7 levels of formality. The one that we're like really are familiar about is that age is a rank. The Hyung against the maknae. So when a Hyung talks to a maknae, usually the verb is going to end up in da or ya.
Mm-hmm.
And when a maknae talks to the Hyung, the verb is going to end in yo. And they're going to call that guy Hyung. Which usually, like the translations of K-dramas do a very bad thing about this, because they usually put the subtitles, they put the name of the character instead of the word Hyung, because it's usually untranslatable.
But this is also gender specific though too. This is not just age.
Yeah,
So,
this is yeah.
And this happens
Yeah.
in lives all the time too. If you look at the subtitles, they put the member's name on the screen, but 9 times out of 10, that person is actually saying Hyung, or if they're referring to one of the older members. But if you're not listening to closely, you'll miss it. But sometimes they are also saying their name as well. But there's Hyung being added on the end, or you'll hear like we've even adopted it like Jungkooki.
Jungkooki. Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Jung Kook.
this is what my next slide goes to. Okay. I'm going to talk about that. So with honorifics also goes like the different ways to say thank you. So what the members are in a show, in an award show, like how are they going to say thank you? They're going to use the word that we all kind of heard so many times, 감사합니다, which is like the word that you would use to say thank you as a professional in a formal public space. That's the word that you use. But, if you go and watch this birthday live of Yoongi, and where Jimin, and I actually called him like that because I was like trying to stop it to take the picture.
He would not leave. He would not leave.
He wants to kill him. Get out.
And it goes in the words that isn't the words that he's using actually. When he leaves, when V's leaving the room, he first says "como wa," which is like the way to say thank you between kind of friends, close friends. But then he says "고맙다," and "고맙다" is kind of like, yeah, right, okay, fine, thanks.
Which makes complete sense when you say how
Yeah. Thanks. Get the fuck out of my life.
It's very, very
out of my studio.
Thank you. Thanks. Get out. Go.
Is a more like a very blunt and matter of fact way of saying like, okay, fine, goodbye. It's like, thank you. I'm thankful. Bye.
Because the young would not leave until Yoongi told him that he loved him.
Nope, not at all. He was demanding I love you.
Yeah, so he's kind of
like, tried all the things besides it. Didn't work.
Just get out of my sight. Thank you. Right. Bye.
Get out.
Get out. Then you have the famous Jimin. When Jimin actually translates like literally to Mr. Jimin.
I love it.
And it's kind of the way that you talk to people that like work with you. It's like a polite way to maintain like a professional distance with the person that
like
you're
people
talking.
you've just met, right? Or like people you've just met.
Yeah. So like the way JK uses the Jiminchi is like more like to tease Jimin and to be kind of funny. It's like a fake formality to show how close they are. And it's like kind of really funny to see it like happen over and over again. And then you have Namjoon. I think we've heard like the older members mostly like calling Namjoon or like, like Jungya. Jin
cute.
usually uses this as an affectionate. It's like an affectionate tag. So it's like or ya, and it's added at the end of like the name. Actually, you know, I've read, and I don't know if this is entirely true, and you know, we have Korean speakers watching, so if they know this, like they probably can correct me. But I've heard that actually it's from older to younger. Not the so when JK saying Yoongi ya, he's actually being a slightly rude, and that's when some members look a little bit
He's
like
being cheeky.
Yeah. He's being a little shit.
they look a little bit like scandalized because it's like
as you do.
you should not be calling me Yoongi ya. But anyway, it was like kind of like a funny interaction.
But also it's like privilege.
Yeah.
You know, I can call him that. I get away with it.
Well, I think everybody has heard about Satoori because we have a song that is known as the Satoori rap. Satoori are the Korean regional dialects. And these are, if you translate them into standard English, they will sound exactly the same because it's not like accents. It's like not, and it's not like accents. It's not like New York accent or a Southern drawl. It implies like different vocabulary, word endings, and kind of a different vibe. Okay. So I'm just going to play a game here with all of you. And I'm just going to ask you, like, I'm going to give you the name of of the dialects, and you're going to tell me the members of BTS. And there's more dialects than this. Actually, in BTS, we have 3 dialects represented. So like, let me like show you the first one. And just tell me, this means SAE means southeast. Who speaks the southeast dialect?
J-Hope.
J-Hope.
Well, actually, no. You're wrong. Is our Busan?
Oh my God! I was thinking southwest. My brain was thinking southwest.
Listen, why are you turning into this into a geography lesson and not just telling us it's the Busan?
I know. I know Busan and Daegu, Satoori, but I don't know Gyeongsang.
Like, what is this nonsense?
I was literally thinking. My brain went Gwangju.
I did too. I went left.
In my left.
So these are So
we can't keep north, south, east, and west track in our brains in our own fucking country, much less theirs.
Exactly. So anyway, the Gyeongsang-do dialect still keeps something that Korean has lost, which is it's a tonal language. So the tone in which you pronounce a word actually changes the meaning of the word. And it's known for having a very tough and masculine and kind of like rough accent. Although the women that speak with this accent are considered also to be like the cutest in Korea. They're perceived as super cute. There's a slight difference between like the Busan variety and the Daegu variety. The Busan variety is like very aggressive and kind of melodic. While the Daegu one is like deeper and it can sound like much heavier.
We know.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just like saying it for like whomever's watching.
No,
I just mean like in my soul, I know.
In my soul,
Listen, you hear that little, you know where that's from.
Okay.
Immediately.
Who speaks Yoongi-do?
Well, that would be Jin and Namjoon then. If
Jin and Namjoon.
Yeah.
Listen, I fucking pulled a map of the country up, so you can't fool me anymore.
You can't fool me.
You can't fool me this time.
I now have a map
with your directions.
Screen, so I know my north, south, east, and west. Okay.
So the Gyeonggi-do, Satoori is like the one that is mostly spoken in Seoul. Is what is considered standard Korean, is what is taught in schools, is what everybody talks, like everybody kind of like, talks in school and learns how to read standard Korean. It's more clean, it's more flat, it's more refined. And everybody understands it regardless of the dialect that they speak. because that's what it's taught in schools.
My most famous example of this that comes to mind is when they're outside of a body of water and Jin says "padada," and then he has Yoongi say "wa padada" because he's saying it in his Daegu accent, and Jin thinks it's adorable.
Yeah.
So look up Jin and Yoongi saying "see" because it translates to "see." Padada, wa padada, and that's, you hear it anyway.
Jeolla. We only have one guy left.
Jung Hoseok.
Okay, cute picture.
Now that I'm looking at a map.
J-Hope.
Ma'am.
CEO J-Hope.
Yeah, what the fuck was this all about?
Foul
This is
on the
rude
play.
ass shit. Why would you do this to me?
How
Why would you do this?
unnecessary
This is
roughness.
rude. This feels
Yeah,
targeted.
seriously.
This feels
Okay.
very targeted, and
Three-piece
I do
Obi.
not appreciate it.
I
But
did it
also
on
do
purpose
look at how
for
pretty
you,
he
dog.
is.
Anyway,
He's so pretty. Shut up.
he speaks Jeolla though because he's from Gwangju. And it's really funny because like his dialect actually plays to the personality of J-Hope. Is very warm, very friendly, sometimes can sound a little bit extra. And that the accent is very bouncy and kind of stretchy, which is like kind of what the way he talks. He kind of like bounces around. And sometimes it's usually spoken very, very fast, and it has like a funny kind of tonality to it, which is very, 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 very J-Hope. But you know, if you like wanted to do like justice when doing a translation of the different, like, you know, when they speak Satoori, like for example, let's take a phrase like "Did you eat yet?" which is what Koreans usually ask when they first see you, is like, "How are you?" You would have to make SUGA sound very blunt and short. So you would like make him say something like, "You eat yet?" And J-Hope would say something very expressive and flowing. He would say, "Hey, now, did you get some food in you or not?" You know, like it would be kind of like the tone would change completely if you were doing a very accurate Satoori translation, which I think is really fun.
That is pretty cool.
It will change completely the vibe. Anyway, have you seen this Run BTS episode?
Have we seen it? We made a video with it.
What is Jimin doing in this? What is he doing? Why is he
Well,
complaining?
he's singing the song of his people.
Yeah, he was in full dialect at
giving
the moment
all
in
the
time.
sass.
All the dialect.
That's one of my favorite Jimins.
He was
all the
speaking dialect with his full
Why
body.
can't you
in
just
that
say it?
moment.
Why can't
Yes,
you just
just
say the full
say
word?
it.
Why do you have to say an abbreviation?
Exactly.
Why can't you say the whole word?
Exactly. He's actually complaining. They're playing a game using slang words, modern Korean slang words. So he's complaining because he's like, why cannot they say the full word? And the reason is because like modern Korean slang, and you've seen the guys play these kinds of games all the time, is mostly based on digital culture and is influenced by K-pop and gaming. And it changes super, super quickly. I mean, it can change in a matter of months. Like whatever you're saying now, next month might be completely out.
I mean, that sounds very familiar.
So the guys, when they play these games, they might be completely out of the loop. They don't understand what the words is about. And
it's only going to get more fun as they complain about getting older and the language that that they're going to quiz them with and Run BTS. Yeah.
What are the kids saying today?
Oh my God, 6, 7. Oh my God, my 10-year-old son. Yeah. I've forbidden him from saying it.
Yeah. So it's the same thing, but like it's like kind of taking to extreme, because I used to work with a Korean translator that actually had kind of try to keep up a website with like all the words that were like happening at the moment. And she completely gave up because she was like, I cannot keep track. Slang in Korean is created by removing letters or syllables for speed. They can even take a word that looks written like the same way as another word and use it instead, even if it means something entirely different. They use a lot of Konglish, like mixtures of like Korean and English together. And they even do other things like, modifying words to sound cuter. And we have seen the guys do this. Really good translators, army translators, actually say this, add this as a note. It's like, oh, he just used this word that made him sound a little bit cuter.
Yeah.
So who in BTS do you think might be the best at slang?
Jungkook
Mm-hmm.
or Jin.
Yeah.
If it's gaming based.
Or Hobie.
Jin does not
Hobie
understand
seems
slang.
pretty on top of like the internet as a
Like
whole.
different categories. I feel like Hobie would.
Yeah. I think
guess that's the
JK
kind
and
of game
Hobie
you
would probably
play.
be your two.
Yes.
JK and Hobie would probably be your two most on top of the slang, especially if it's internet generated.
And
Yeah.
Namjoon
Those are
actually,
your two most
I think
chronically
Namjoon is
online.
fairly online as well.
Yeah.
Namjoon too, yeah.
I think, I would say JK. And the reason why I would say JK is that famous live where Namjoon was completely scandalized when he was like saying, you don't say you want to have ramen at my house anymore.
Oh, yeah.
The comment, see my cat. All the members of BTS proceeded to get a cat after that. So
Yeah, they did.
Brecky.
It's true. Also, we know that,
Coincidence?
like,
I don't
doom
think
scrolls.
so.
No joke of doom scrolls.
okay, next. We're going now into like the poetry lost kind of like area. So like in Korean, there's a bunch of like concepts that are very much part of the Korean identity that don't have a match in the West. And these words are very ingrained in who they are. Some of the three most important ones are Han, which is usually translated as resentment or an unresolved grudge or like grief, but is like something that goes deeper than that. Han is like a permanent part of the identity of Koreans and is rooted in the history of Korea and like invasions, colonization, and war. It's kind of like the feeling of having been wronged by fate or by something superior, but instead of like getting rageful about it, it's kind of like a knot in the heart. So that is like super hard to explain. And like there's this words that like completely untranslatable. The other one is Jeong. And like I think this word like relates very much to BTS. It's usually translated as love or affection or belonging, but it's more like broader and less romantic. It's Jeong is like kind of the emotional bond that grows between people over time through shared experience, even like bad experiences. It's like kind of a social glue that prioritizes the we over the I. And you don't fall into it like you would fall in love. Jeong is like passive and it's cumulative and it sticks to you. So I would say probably that the BTS members, because they have lived together through thick and thin, have a lot of Jeong. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes me wonder now when Namjoon said, I wish there was a word stronger than love, if I thought he meant in general a word stronger than love, but maybe he meant a word in English that was stronger than love, because in Korean, he has words that are stronger.
He has
and more specific to what he was feeling. So
that makes sense.
That's interesting. That makes me think about him saying that in a different way.
And then the other word that I put here is Nunchi. Nunchi is something that Koreans praise on the people that have Nunchi and criticize the people that don't have Nunchi. And Nunchi is the subtle way of like kind of reading other people, reading their moods, their intentions, and responding the right way. So it's kind of like reading the room, is having emotional intelligence or a social radar. And sometimes it goes very linked with language because it's what allows you to kind of read the context and read between the lines to what like this person is saying and interpreting it the right way. So Nunchi is like super important, reading the room.
what I'm hearing is when the auto translation feature goes off the rails and you are watching it, you need Nunchi to understand that there ain't no way that
Yeah.
that word is correct.
Wow. Anyway, poetry lost, wordplay,
Oh,
and
look how
who
pretty
is
he
the
is.
best at freaking do we have a wordplay master? Our Kim Namjoon right
Look
here.
at him. Look at him.
And,
So cute.
and I chose one of my favorite wordplays in any BTS song. I'm going to talk about another one that was mentioned earlier, but this is probably my favorite because I think it's so smart and you cannot really translate it. You can translate the lyrics, but you cannot translate the meaning behind it. So this lyrics from Trivial Love, I'm just a human. You wrote all my ages and make me a love. So this two words in this verse, human, and love, are key to explain what he's actually doing in this verse. The two words, as you see, are exactly the same. The only thing that changes is this character here and this character here. One is a square, the other one's a circle. So when Namjoon is saying, you erode the edges of the square and you turn them into a circle, you go from a human to love. Having edges also in Korean, when you say that a person has edges, is somebody that is kind of unsociable and is a kind of a difficult person to deal with. So it also has that added meaning to it. And it's something that if you read the lyrics and you don't know Hangul characters, you cannot really figure out what is being said here.
It's so brilliant.
It's absolutely brilliant.
I love that he literally describes the act of changing the character in the song.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
It's one of the most brilliant wordplays ever because it also requires context as you do. Like you need the context. You have to read more into just the lines to realize he's saying
here's the
what
thing,
he's
though.
truly saying.
Even if you don't, the lyrics are still great. But if you do read into it more and you get that extra level of cultural knowledge and language understanding, it means even more.
Yeah. And the other one is another favorite song of mine. The other one is Dang.
I love that song so much.
Heck yeah.
Justice for Dang. We need it on the streamers. Give it to us on Spotify, guys.
So many meanings of Dang in that song.
So many.
So particularly Namjoon in his verse uses like several meanings of Dang. And I think that, if you haven't watched the video that explains the meaning of Dang in YouTube, you're like, you should run and watch it because it's like
DKTV.
We link it in our blog.
We sure do.
Blog, guys. You can find it at AP529.com.
And then I'm gonna just go into like something like super, like the last part of Poetry Lost is something that Dang also does. Dang is an onomatopoeia. It's like a sound that sounds like something. So as you see in the meanings here, like you have something that is like the sound of a money and cash register. It sounds the ding from like wrong, incorrect in like show. So that is like, they use a sound that is the sound of something. But in Korean, they go one step further. They have what they call mimetic words that describe the sound, the movement, or the feeling of something by evoking it with the sound of the word itself. So apparently twinkling stars sound kind of banjak, which they use in microcosmos. But they use this kind of words, mimetic words, all the time. In Dionysus, there's one that is about sloshing in a sloshing liquid in a cup. And there's several others like this. So it's super interesting that, this is something that is completely untranslatable, because like the perception of that sound might not be the same in another language.
I went down a rabbit hole once, how different languages say the word meow for a cat.
I love that.
It's really fun. You you look through all the different languages, and they all have slightly different ways of saying meow. And it's really cool. I think in Korean it's M-I-A-U. Mao, 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 I think.
All animal sounds. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
Now, Juliana's actually offering me another one, which is awesome, from Super Tuna, paltak paltak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another.
Didn't JK do that when he saw the frog and in the soup? He was doing the frog sound.
Yes.
This is even more crazy because they just use it not only for like sounds of like animals, which is like what we are most like close to. Like in other languages, we use that a lot for noises of a thing, with like a motorbike, rum rum, and things like that. Here they use them as like to give texture to the language, to kind of provide a feeling or evoke or emphasize something, which is like super interesting.
Yeah.
So once we know all of the things, and now I'm just gonna ask you, how do we think AI compares to a human translator?
It's a base level. It's like it's like the stepping stone, but you can't there's nothing that you can't replace a human translator if you really want to know what's being said.
Yeah.
Or more about what's being said.
Yeah. As somebody who has coded a lot in her lifetime, which means I've had to talk to computers in computer languages that they can understand, they can only understand what you tell them, which sounds so strange to say, but it's true. They can only understand what you program them to do. They can't make, it's easy for them to say, if you see A, you report back B. It's very hard for you to say, if you report A, but also maybe B, then maybe choose C or D, depending on the context of A or B. They have a very hard time with that.
Yeah.
So, So on the one hand, it's like you can get like, you kind of get what you put in.
They're better than nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They are better than nothing.
They're better than nothing. And that's how I view, especially like the AI auto translators that Weverse use when you're watching the live for the first time while it's live. Those on the fly lives is that they are a gist at best. They are a vague semblance of what they are saying at best. Because they can't deal with words that are the same, that have different meanings. They absolutely cannot handle the Satoori. Like when they start getting into slang, it can't handle it at all. It just totally jacks up. They can't handle language switches. So when they switch from Korean to English to Japanese to whatever, the auto translate feature can't do it. It can't do it. And so there are things you just have to understand in limitations when you choose to watch it with the auto translate AI feature, is that there are definite limitations. And like Christina pointed out, those limitations are largely due to how it's programmed. How much time did somebody sit there telling that computer program, this is what this word means. This is what this chunk of words means. If this string of words is together, this is what it means, to give it more context. And until somebody sits down and actually codes that inside of the translator software, it won't be able to do it. It will never be able to do it. So the limitations are legitimately how well is it coded, who's behind the coding, what kind of level of detail did they put into it, and how much Satoori is being involved in the situation.
Well, how about how many people are speaking and with their distance from the microphone? I mean, that's also
in the group lives. Yes,
in an
100%.
7 live. There's no way a computer can follow all the different conversations that are happening.
Well, even High Boy has to go back and he'll watch one person talk and translate, and then go back and watch the same scene and watch somebody else. and then
Right.
and so there's just no way that AI can pick up all of that and all the nuance at the same time. There's just
right. And there's also no way that a live human translator can pick all that up. Like if you like for High Boy, I love High Boy. I watch his videos all the freaking time. But that 8-minute OT7 live was a 45-minute video. That 40-minute OT7 live was a 3-hour video. It was like over 3 hours long, because that's how long it takes to go back and catch each individual person's comments here and there and wherever. That person trying to live translate that, there's no way. They can't keep up. It's not possible.
Yeah.
I guess my question would be too, the things that kind of keep me up is, because Korean is so difficult, because there are so many nuances, because you have so many people from so many different languages with so limited context and understanding, do you ever, which I feel like sometimes it does more harm than good, because then these guys get in trouble and the world goes crazy over a misinterpretation and all shit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just feels like it was better originally when we had to wait a bit or find somebody that actually understood what was going on, because now it's just like every time they open their mouths, people lose their shit.
I actually wonder, and I would kind of like if they just had a permanent banner on the thing that's like, these translations are an approximation, like, wait for the real ones in 3 days or whatever. I mean, better way of and that way, if anybody screenshots to be like, but this is what the Weverse translation said, it can be like, everybody hold your fucking horses.
Right. Yeah, I it's like, it's really interesting because like when AI was like launched to the world, there was a lot of disclaimers saying, AI is not accurate. AI, it's like they would put in the AI itself, like, you have to be very careful with what it's saying and like fact check it, because if you don't fact check it, you might kind of tell you something that is not real. And I think that, having a disclaimer saying, hey, this might not be as accurate as you think it is, might be a way to actually make people calm down a little bit, because like sometimes people go absolutely crazy.
People just want to find things to be angry about at this point.
I truly think it would be valid if on the screen somewhere, when the automatic translations are happening, there is that disclaimer. Like if the auto translations are at the bottom, the disclaimer is at the top, and that disclaimer goes away when they put on the real translations a few days later. But those real translations take anywhere from 3 to 7 days, depending on how much they're talking. Valid point. I mean, it's a valid reason, but like, I think it would be valid, because then when those people screenshot those automatic translations, there would be that disclaimer to help calm them down a little bit.
It's so funny because yesterday I was literally just having this conversation with my family. I was in the car with my dad and my aunt, and my aunt was asking me, she was like, do you think that AI is going to replace like editors? Because we were talking about the work I do as like a freelance book editor. And she was like, do you think that AI is going to replace editors? And I was like, absolutely not. Because I was like, it's really helpful to have as an additional tool. And I imagine it's the same thing for translators, because you can get that base level, like AI can proofread a document and catch all the spelling errors and the punctuation errors and this and that. And then you've got that base level taken care of, but then like I can go in and I can edit on top of that for context and nuance and things like that.
Yeah.
And get into like the actual what the author is trying to say. And it's the same thing with the translators. They can go back and they can, we can get that baseline translation from the AI, but then to get the rest of it, you need an actual human touch.
Yeah. Well,
that does make sense, because in undergrad, the average document had a 5-pass editing. You had to edit it 5 times, and each time was a different thing. And so it does make sense that you could take out the first 1 or 2 passes with AI, but then you still have to do that final 3 passes with a human eye, or you're not going to get a truly edited document. So that does make a lot of sense.
Translators. Also, like translators have a resource, like translators use this all the time, and I've used it all the time. I mean, like there's a difference between like transcription and translation. Transcription is basically you take some content and instead of translating it, you actually adapt it culturally to the culture you're translating for, which is actually a super interesting kind of way to work. And I worked on that a lot. But like, I think that there's like translators have a lot of resources, particularly human translators, to do footnotes. I mean, you can give like also like the gist of the whatever is being said, and then add a bunch of footnotes to explain that poetry loss that I was talking about. Like, I mean, like the only way that I learned about like that lyric from Namjoon was basically by reading a footnote. So if you're really interested in getting that nuance that you don't get with like the basic like gist of like translation, you can always like look for translators that give you the footnotes.
Right.
But for all of that, you have to be patient and you have to wait, and therein lies the reason why the auto translator exists, because it's doing it on the fly in the minute as we go. But you're never going to get those nuances without being patient and waiting for the human.
So Steph, I don't know about the answer to your question, because I don't know. Like sometimes I'm like, man, I wish we could just go back to the days where we didn't have anything on the screen and we had to wait. But then I also do find myself having a good time hanging out with people, watching the live together, and like kind of laughing about the translations, you know, a little bit. But then again, I know it's like a
I just feel like every time now we have a live, the amount of bullshit that goes on the internet and people bitching, and Weverse is so horrible, and I mean, it's just like it just turns into a big negative cloud of people pissed off that they said this and overreacting about that, and it's like that's not even what was said. Number one, but number two, can we not all just agree that this is better than what we had last year, which was nothing?
Right.
That's right to understand. Exactly.
I think that's what drives me crazy about it. And I know that's just the culture of when you have a lot of different people, that you're always going to have shitholes. But it just seems like the shitholes just never can be pleased. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. And they sure don't like the answer, learn Korean yourself. They sure don't like that.
They're real mad.
That's a way to make somebody.
What's your other option? If you're pissed when you don't have subtitles, and you're pissed when you do, then your only option is to learn the fucking language yourself. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I think this is one of those, if you're miserable everywhere you go, you need to look in the mirror.
And if you like,
that's why I can't say anything about it, because it pisses me off.
Yeah, but
about everybody.
The other thing too is that I have spent a lot of time listening and watching people speak Korean. I can't speak Korean, but I'm getting better at the nuance of how they're saying something, and the overall feeling. Like you could just see sometimes when if you're paying attention, you need to look at somebody's face when they're talking, and that's why the comment somebody brought up in the comments about RM, you know, when someone is using sarcasm, you need to look at their face and their body language, and were they smiling at the time? Did they have a smirk on their face? Those are the kinds of things that when people talk, you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And I think what happens
in those situations, because it happens to me all the time on social media, right? I'm a very sarcastic, very dry humor person, right? You either have to get me or you don't, right? It also depends on the frame of mind of the person that's watching. Because you can have all of that, but if the person's coming into it with an already preconceived notion of what they're going to hear, or the type of person you are, and I'm sort of taking beyond just BTS, but I'm saying in general,
right,
yeah, you're still gonna misinterpret,
right?
I'm just gonna say this because like in my experience, it's like I've been doing this 20 years. Like, I'm not kidding you. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have used technology to help me with translation for many, many, many years. I would use online translators. I would use like dictionaries online. I would like have somebody like translate things for me that sometimes were like not that great translators, by the way. And I've hired plenty of good translators to work for me, but if somebody hired a translator for me, sometimes they were not good at all. And I could tell from like just reading the translation. And I'm telling you, technology is is not at the level yet. And I think it will get to it will get better. I know that it will probably get better. Like, I mean, AI now for translations is slightly better than the original translators that I used online. So you can get with like, you know, any technology that does translations, you get the gist of the meaning of what's being said, but you have to know all the caveats.
So to Christina's point, do you think AI will ever come along and be like not only interpreting voice, but facial at the same time?
There are experiments about it. I think it would get the thing that it would lose for sure, because that's like kind of like the thing that is absolutely, and I would be really surprised that I think it would take a lot of years, is like the level of like, and because it's impossible. You cannot translate, like you can do rhymes, but you cannot do literal rhymes ever. I've translated poetry and I had to change the meaning slightly to actually get like the poetry there and the rhyme and the meter the right way. So I don't think that technology can do that. And if it gets there, it's going to take a long time. But to be better at, like, for example, distinguishing if a person is switching from like Spanish to English or from Korean to English, yes, I think that is almost there. The technology is getting there. I think that at listening at multiple voices, probably you can train to recognize different tones of voice. And if the people are probably mic'd up correctly, you can probably pick up the different voices. But you would have to change the subtitles. And subtitling is very, very hard because someone have to fit a lot of meaning in a very limited amount of characters. So that's another challenge.
You know what I'll take before that challenge though? I will happily take a AI bot that blocks the phrase "please speak English" in their lives over
please
over an AI bot for correct subtitles. Just stop asking it, stop typing it. And I report every single comment that makes that until Weverse tells me I can't report anymore.
It is $2.49 to have rough AI subtitles every month.
Yeah.
If you drink coffee, that is less than a single latte per month that you are just not doing in order to have your AI subtitles. And they give you the gist. That's all that matters. And then you don't have to be asking them to speak English or being rude about it. Like, that's just a rude comment in general. To ask them to speak any language other than the one they're currently speaking is rude.
That is treating them like a performing animal.
It's just rude. There is no other reason. There is no argument. There's nothing you can say to justify anything other than asking any human being on planet Earth to speak any other language than the one they are actively speaking is rude. But like $2.49 to not have to ask that question, or most of us won't ask it anyways. We're over on Twitter watching the subtitles, the people trying to translate live over there. That's what we did before these AI subtitles showed up. And you can enjoy what we have. At the end of the day, you be happy for the gist that we have, and then you wait the 3 to 7 days to get the real subtitles, or you wait the single day or 2 days for somebody like Hive Boy to put up English subtitle translations of the things, and you be happy and you just calm down until then, or you read their body language. When their body language is overtly joking and the subtitles say things like, "Oh, I don't like my company," or whatever, they're obviously joking if you read their body language, and then you don't have to panic. You don't have to freak out.
And take into context what everybody around them was saying in the moment as well.
And I also think that
context is key.
If you paid attention,
go on, Christina.
I was just going to say also to that point, if you paid attention to everything that Patricia just said in her presentation just now, the language that they're choosing to speak has beautiful context and meaning and nuance and poetry behind it. So if they are taking their time out of their schedule to come and speak with you face to face, let them use the paintbrush that they want to use in terms of talking to you. And that's how I see the language. Is it's the paintbrush that they want to use for that particular moment in time. And it's you have to, I don't know, I feel like you have to change your view on that. Not people here, because I know nobody in here would ever say speak English please, but just you need to be able to get that context, and that's what they chose to speak to you.
There comes it's a certain amount of like hubris, I think, because you have to, we have to learn, and I'm just saying we in the general broad sense of we, not necessarily us here, like we were saying, but have to learn how to take our own culture and context and set it aside for a minute to be able to take in another culture and context. Now, sometimes they can relate. Sometimes we can figure out and you know, through body language and whatever, or the translations that we have, oh, that kind of means this, that reminds me of this. Sometimes we can relate it, but we have to set our biases and prejudices and context and culture aside, because that's not what we're looking at. They're inviting us into their culture. And they're inviting us into their world.
And I think, I mean,
we have to respect it.
Patricia and Stephanie were just in Korea, the two of them. And I'm pretty sure they spent the majority of the time just enjoying it by listening and soaking it up, and not trying to like be violently American in that country. You know?
Can I tell this is actually pretty funny. I had a moment where I was told I had no Nunchi whatsoever, which was really funny. It was really funny because like they called me out like so badly. So I was like, I was literally like, my Spanish kind of like cultural upbringing, the way I was raised is like, when somebody is trying to enter a place like a bus, you wait for everybody to get in and then you go next. So I'm like standing in front of the bus, you know, and I have Jeannie on one side and one of our tour guides on the other side. And the three of us are standing there, and I'm waiting for them to get in, and they're not moving. And Jeannie looks at me and goes like, Patricia, Nunchi, we're waiting for you to get in. So if you don't get in, nobody gets in. And I was like, okay. It's really interesting how, you know, it's like it kind of got translated into that, you know, but like, I think that you have to have, you know, I'm a person that comes from another culture. I live in a culture that is not the culture I was raised in. And I had to kind of assimilate. But like there are things that, you know, it's backwards. You know, it's like when my American friends come to visit with me in Spain, it's like, you don't do that in Spain. This is like not the way it works. So you have to kind of adapt to the place where they are. You are like in Rome, do what Romans do. If you're in Korea, you try to kind of be like them and be respectful of what they do or how they do things. You know, there's something that works all around the world. I have traveled to many places. If somebody puts a plate of food on the table, even if you don't like it, you try it. You
don't complain about it when you do.
Because the people that are offering you that food, you know, it's like they're doing it because they're like welcoming you. It's like a sign of hospitality. Just like accept that food and eat it. You know,
people
it's like,
are offering you their culture.
Yeah. So it's like I think that, you know, by being in this fandom is like you really have, with being ARMY, it's like you have to respect that their culture is entirely different. I mean, it's like you cannot approach things as like, I would like them to be this way. No, it's not like that. You know, it's like when you like someone, you accept them as they are, and they are Korean. So
well, you can't, if you're going to choose to be a fan of a foreign group, right? Mm-hmm. You can choose, I guess, to be a lazy fan. And by lazy fan, I mean, you want everything spoon fed to you the way you understand it, the way you digest it. You don't want any processing at all. Then you're really choosing the wrong people to be a fan of, because it's disrespectful to them, and you're being unfair to even to yourself, because the amount of consternation that I see people going through over them not speaking English or the subtitles not being right. And I'm like, why are you getting so worked? I mean, you chose, right? Didn't you choose them?
You brought yourself into this fandom.
And now you're letting it like totally disrupt your peace, like over stuff like that. And so it just drives me crazy, because it's like you're going to have to make an effort. You're going to have to make an effort to put your own ego aside, to want to understand more, to give grace, to want to learn more about the culture, all of those things. Otherwise, go.
Yep, you know, find another group. There's other groups around.
Find another group.
Find other groups.
No one's offended.
I just want to, you know, it's like, for me, it's more like the way that I think about it is when somebody invites you to their home, like when somebody invites you, you're like, you know, if like I get invited to any of your homes, am I going to walk in and start doing like rude stuff in the middle of your living room and complaining about your food, or complaining about the bed, or complaining about like your furniture? No, I'm not going to do that, because it's rude.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing. If somebody invites you into their culture, just like be polite and accepting that they might not see things through the same lens that you see things, because the world is colored in a different way. They have a different way to approach things. It's like, I mean, I had to learn that. I made this joke all the time when I moved to the United States. I always said that I was culturally impaired, because I was. Because I did not, I spoke the language, but I didn't understand half of the jokes my friends made, because I didn't grow up here, and half of the things that they referred to, I didn't get. And I've learned it through like, you know, many, many, many years of like listening and observing and like learning, you know. It's like to the point, you know, it's like my ex-husband was Jewish. I can speak some Yiddish, because I've heard about, you know, it so many times, and it only made me a richer person to know that.
Right. And you know what, to that point, I think one of the comments I just saw said, do you think I'll have time to learn Korean before the concerts?
Absolutely.
And I think I would say anything is better than nothing.
True.
So
you can learn all the phrases you really want to know.
You can learn that. It's really nice, even if all you learn is like saranghae, you know, like you hear them say that to you, because they're going to say it to Army a lot, right? The fact that you know what that means already, and you don't have to translate it, is going to make you feel fuzzy, you know, and that's just a single word. So I would say anything is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing.
I think the biggest takeaway here, and something that we've all been kind of talking about, is patience. You know, we just got this incredible information dropped on us today, which means, and we know that more is coming, and which means that things are going to start ramping up. We're going to start getting we're going to start getting content from them. And so there's going to be a lot of discussion. There's going to be things that they might start going live more. Who knows? There's going to be all kinds of different things. And then when music is released, there's going to be whole layers on top of that. And so the key is patience, because you might have to wait to get some more nuance on something. You might not understand something right away. There might be a translation that is a little later coming than you would like, or maybe, you know, like, or maybe you're confused, but you're confused about what to do for this or what to do for that. We're already seeing a lot of questions about the very little information that we have so far. So the key is patience.
Well, I think the key also is to keep your sanity, is to use a little bit of common sense. So like, for example, when the leader of a group that is sitting there with a group of the 6 other members, all about the upcoming stuff, makes a comment, and it sounds like he says he's leaving the group, He's obviously not leaving the group.
That was what started this whole topic, by the way.
I would also like to add, this is something that I thought about mentioning when I was presenting, and it's like all the instructions that we're gonna get, and I said this in the presentation. Translators are usually hired to translate the language that they speak natively. And I can tell you from what I've seen in Weverse all the time, when we get a notice, when we get that stuff is not being translated by native speakers of English. So when you get instructions to buy, when you get like the rules of how to get tickets on pre-sale and stuff like that, it's going to be incredibly confusing because they're going to write it with the mindset of a Korean, and that's how it sounds like. I know it's enraging, but that's the way that it works. If they hired somebody that had the background and was a native English speaker and could speak Korean, but the problem is that the scarcity. Korean is so difficult to speak, so you're not going to find a lot of native, you have some K-pop idols that were born in the States that also speak Korean. So
there is someone who could do better than what we get.
It's kind of going
you got to unclench.
We should just hire some of those idols to come and translate.
As someone that also has worked a lot of times in tech, in international section for tech, also Weverse is incredibly frustrating in terms of UI, because it's also like, the UI in Asia is not like the ones we're used to in the Western world. Like Japanese companies do their websites in a very odd way. And I think Koreans too, because from what I see on Weverse, they haven't changed it. So don't get frustrated. Also, take, when you see the top titles, take them with a pile of salt, like a pile, not a grain, a freaking pile of salt.
A heaping handful, like you're making pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like ice. There's ice in New York. Like the one that they throw on the floor, that's the ice.
Rock salt.
Yeah. Rock salt.
And maybe before you take to the social medias with your outrage at a mistranslated subtitle, maybe just come in with your group of army friends and double check yourself first. Maybe just take that extra little step, and it'll save you some heartache.
And think, does that sound like something Namjoon would say? No,
in that environment at that moment.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
does it? If you thought that the translation said that Taehyung got a job at a company, does that
as a driver?
Right?
Yeah.
Does it sound like something that he would really be doing?
That sound like the side gig he's looking for right now? No, think so.
Maybe he's just hedging his bets in case this whole BTS thing doesn't pan out. Maybe he's going to be an Uber driver. Does that sound right to you?
I was making cuts. He's had to do a lot of ambassadorships, and he's also driving for Uber Eats on the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very busy. That's why his lives were so fast. He's got to get
What's funny though is that man would probably do it for fun.
Probably.
And I think the other thing is, to Quince's point too, is we've got so much coming. We've got so much to look forward to. Just focus on we've waited for this for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Focus on the positive. Be happy. Just don't look for the shit that's going to get you worked up. If watching something live in the moment and not having the correct subtitle is going to piss you off or stress you out, wait for high, boy. Don't let it take your joy. Don't let it take your peace. Don't let it. It's just not worth it. This is too much fun right now. This is too much fun.
I agree.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, we should wrap up.
Screaming at us. Yeah.
Go ahead, Patricia.
No, I just want to say Leslie has put together an article of recommended human translators, which we wanted to do this live on before we actually kind of published it in the website, but it's going to go there. So you can go.
It should be up tomorrow. We will post it in the Discord and on our social media accounts. So take a look. It's just a list of translators that we've used and have a history of doing reliable, accurate, nuanced work.
Please. It's a static list. Things change on social media all the time. We are not putting this list. This was what I was afraid of, that we're putting together a list and it's this is the pinnacle of we have no idea. These are just the ones that in the past have been good. So we can't get guarantee that these are the best translators out there.
We're not guaranteeing anything in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing in perpetuity.
So Christina learned that today. Like, right? You can really depend on a source. And
I lost the source today. Yeah. Because I was like, wow, this person, I've been following this person for a long time and they've been on the level. And today they got me. They put something on a tweet and I reported it back in the Discord server and it turned out that it's didn't have a good source. So the path of lies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and to that point, we've had some really good translators in the past who no longer do it, so we lose them. And also, like we've mentioned High Boy before in this live, he's only been doing it for a short period of time. So like he wasn't even around when we started this project. So it's always bear in mind that these things move and they fluctuate. We will try to update it as we know to update it, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So Leslie has, like we said, Leslie has a new Ask AP529 coming out. Katie, you said tomorrow?
Yeah. It just needs a picture or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you, Patricia.
Yes, thank you, Patricia, for putting this together.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was so good. So good.
Yes. This was amazing. What a great discussion.
Yep.
And we've been kicking this one around for a while. Mm-hmm. We get so frustrated, and it just so happened to be like Doc said earlier, just so happened to become timely. Yeah. Because we've seen a lot of noise because they've been ramping. Obviously, they've been going live more recently. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a lot of noise, people chattering about the subtitles or a lack thereof, or the accuracy and the audacity.
The audacity.
All the C's you can think of.
How fucking dare, man.
Yeah. So, all of these. Yeah. So this was, hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah. I like Steph's feeling of just let's get ready for the fun. Let's find the fun.
Yes.
Find the fun.
Because they've been waiting for so long to drop this on us, and we don't want that to be spoiled.
I just always picture them coming on the live and being so excited, and then they walk out of the room and the fire going off of everybody freaking out. And they're like,
that was supposed to be fun, y'all.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a great time. That's how I feel.
Listen, there are going to be people in your life who will complain about literally everything. They are going to find reason to complain no matter what. They're going to complain about the subtitles not being accurate. They're going to complain about the fact that they have to pay for them. They're going to complain if they don't pay for them that they have to wait for them. And so there's going to be somebody complaining about everything. And at the end of the day, when it comes to BTS and living this old Bangtan life, 2026 is upon us. The year of BTS is upon us. And so if you're one of those people, just fucking stop it. Stop complaining about literally everything. Find your joy. Stop being that person. Bring them down. Just stop it. Find your joy in BTS.
Yeah, if you're not having fun most of the time,
then
sit
go
with that.
Really sit with that for a minute. Really think about why that is.
Just really think about your life choices if you're not having fun the majority of the time. And if you're about to type a complaint inside of the Discord server, don't. Just delete it. Don't type it. Nobody wants to have
I'm more protective of the Weverse lives. If you're about to type a complaint or a demand into a Weverse live, just stop. Just
stop doing it.
I mean, let me tell you, I've had so many people comment tonight to me about my swaying back and forth. That's how worked up this whole topic makes me. I'm swaying so I don't say something that's going to get my ass in trouble.
I just thought you were doing your JK. I just thought you were doing your JK.
No, I am so worked up about people being shitting on this joyful moment.
I know.
Listen, if anybody typed a comment to Stephanie in some kind of DM about her swaying, shut the fuck up.
Well, no, they were funny. They were all supportive.
Leave her alone.
I had to point out why.
Leave her alone.
I normally don't do this. I normally don't.
Cinnamon roll. Let her sway.
Oh, you mean like last Sunday's live when y'all were talking about me touching my headphones? Yeah, it got back to me.
We need to get you on a pistachio habit where you're just sitting there aggressively shelling pistachios.
Listen, JK swayed so much and people were so mean to him in comments that he finally had to admit that he had ADHD before people would stop being, and people were still being mean to him in comments about swaying. Please
I
allow.
don't have ADHD. I just have anger.
You know what? Yeah. You can have whatever reason you want to sway, but like let people do their thing. Let people sway if they need to sway.
I also forgot to mention, if you didn't like perceive it when I said it before, that like being that Korean has the verb at the end, if the subtitles take too long, they take too long because they don't know what the fuck they're saying until they say the verb of the sentence. So they have to wait until the very end of the sentence to actually
the most important part's at the end.
Yeah. So like, you know,
listen, the real takeaway is this is supposed to be fun, guys. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves.
Like I sincerely meant that if being a fan of something causes you that much consternation and anxiety, then
if it's constant, that's a problem. Everybody has moments. Yes. Everybody has, you're not going to feel good every moment of the day about every single thing. And that's okay. And that's allowed. You're allowed to have anxiety here and there about things. I said I felt a lot of emotions today, and I mean it. I felt all of them, all of the emotions today.
Oh, yeah. I went through the gamut. All the gamut of the emotions.
I panicked. There was a lot of panic for a few, and so it's okay, but that can't be your constant. That can't be your baseline. If that's your baseline, to Stephanie's point, examine that and why, and perhaps if maybe another direction might be right for you. And I said another direction. I didn't say anything. Maybe.
You didn't say wrong direction.
Yeah, another.
Maybe.
I didn't say wrong. Yeah, I didn't say a better or a wrong or whatever. I just said maybe,
maybe another.
Find your joy, basically.
Which is easy
just
to
sit
do
back and rediscover your
joy.
joy. Rediscover your joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
BTS is all about loving ourselves. And BTS would want us to be happy and love ourselves and find joy and happiness in following them as a group. And so,
and if you need help,
recenter yourself.
Recenter yourself. What a great way to segue.
What a great way to segue. Because we follow musicians. And as such, in our Discord, we have a channel, Streaming, Charting, and Voting, for all of the music-related goals and playlists and awards and good stuff like that. And so if you can join our Discord and you're interested in learning more about streaming, charting, voting, join that channel and we will keep you up to date and also give you help. Like, for example, voting for Jin for this last one was a little challenging. There were people having some challenging times with emails and stuff like that. So that's a really good channel to get some help in order to support the guys. So yeah, there you go. Streaming, charting, voting.
Yeah. And in our Discord server, like I mentioned at the top of the live, we have created channels specifically to talk about these new things coming up, like the album right now of BTS, the 5th album. Yes, that might be the title. Sit with that. We don't know.
But it is, in fact, the 5th album. For those of you who can't do math or don't understand EP versus full-length album.
We had a whole discussion, and we're probably going to do an Ask AP529 about it as well. We had a whole discussion about the difference between EPs and LPs, full-length albums today. So if you have questions like that, come into our Discord and talk to people about it in a nice possible, in a nice way. Talk to people about it, ask them questions, have these discussions. This is the fun stuff, like, oh, what is the difference between an EP and LP? I never knew that. That's really cool. Things like that. We have channels for that now. We've got all kinds of things going on. We've got watch parties almost every day of the week. We've got book clubs. We've got meditation clubs. We've got just people out the wazoo. We've got, Stephanie mentioned our regional threads earlier. We have local threads where you can find people near where you live, and we get people get together with local groups all the time and go to cup sleeves. They go to the movies that come out. So our Discord is amazing. There's always something going on. There's always someone to talk to. And if you need help finding that joy or redirecting it in a better way, I promise you that you can find people to help you with that in our Discord, in the community, in AP529 in general.
Ooh,
We
and I'm
even have a
seeing
Scream Into the
Jin1
Void
too.
thread where you can go actually like go crazy, and then nobody gets to say anything back. They just get to like hug you in the with
An emoji. Yeah, a vent into the void. Exactly. Yeah. You can just be like, everything sucks, and somebody can just give you a hug. That's it. Great.
Awesome, Patricia. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Yay.
It was fun.
All right.
I love this kind of stuff. So
that was amazing. As a reminder, we go live twice a week. This was our Sunday surprise live where Patricia taught us all about translation and the mathematics behind it and the complexities inherent in it. And why sometimes you just can't take things at their face value when automatic translations are involved. Our next live will be on Wednesday for our
midweek tea.
Almost had it.
Almost there. So close. Midweek tea, everyone.
Okay.
Oh, she froze. That's how.
Finish it up. Finish it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna save her from this. Sorry,
yeah. for our midweek tea is on Wednesday on TikTok. Yep. It's the same time, 9 Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So join us for our next live on Wednesday, where we talk about shenanigans on Kim Namjoon's internet and all the boring news for the week.
Yes.
That's right.
And we want to thank all of you guys for being here for this great topic.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on to your seats. We don't know what's coming this week.
No idea.
We just know it's going to be BTS.
I swear. And one of the reasons why I fell for that earlier was because the promos for this album have been a physical letter, the symbols showing up on the steps,
right?
In Korea. Like everything has been really cool, but also very like different.
Cryptic.
Yeah,
different. Very army like forward. Like we just want to talk to army right now.
Yep.
Right.
How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care of yourselves, everybody.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. We love you all.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.